Welcome to Zoe Stories. She said, "You want to act like a girl?" So she made me one. You think you can act like a girl? Let's see how far you'll go. 18-year-old Ethan slouched in the corner of the living room, trying to make himself invisible. His life had always been quiet, almost painfully ordinary: books, video games, and late-night walks home. He was used to blending into the background. But tonight was different. His cousin Lila, bold, intoxicatingly confident, and 3 years older than him, had cornered him in her apartment. "You look like a scared little boy," she said, circling him slowly, her heels clicking against the hardwood floor. "I bet you've never even imagined what it feels like to be noticed." Ethan's chest tightened. He knew Lila's reputation for getting what she wanted, whether through charm, manipulation, or sheer intimidation. But this was something else. I don't understand," he stammered. Lila leaned in, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "You want to act like a girl, don't you?" Ethan blinked. I don't." "Exactly," she interrupted, smirking. "You think you don't. But I know the truth. And tonight, you're going to see how freeing it can be, or humiliating. Depends on you." She pulled out a small suitcase from under the couch. Silk dresses, stockings, high heels, and makeup lay neatly folded inside. Ethan's heart raced. Why?" he whispered, panic rising. "Because," she said, tilting her head, "I want to see if you can be beautiful. If you can become what you've always denied yourself." For the first time, Ethan felt a shiver that wasn't just fear. It was curiosity. And a small, forbidden part of him wanted to see what it felt like. Before he could protest further, Lila's hand brushed against his shoulder. Firm, persuasive, commanding. "Sit," she ordered. "We're starting now." As Ethan sank into the chair, the weight of inevitability pressed down on him. This wasn't a game. He was about to step into someone else's world, where every step, every look, every movement would be judged. And he had no choice but to comply. Internal monologue. "What am I doing?" Ethan thought. "This isn't me. This isn't real, is it?" But as he looked at Lila, powerful, radiant, and unstoppable, he realized she had already won. The question wasn't whether he could refuse. The question was whether he could survive what came next. Cliffhanger. Lila opened the suitcase fully and pulled out a delicate pink dress. "First lesson, a girl's body language. And you're going to learn it the hard way. You think it's just clothes? Try walking in them, and tell me it feels the same." Ethan's hands trembled as he stared at the delicate pink dress Lila had laid out. The satin shimmered under the living room lights, soft and deceptively innocent. A part of him screamed to run, to throw the whole thing back at her and escape, but curiosity tangled with fear, freezing him in place. "Come on," Lila said, voice soft but unyielding. "You don't get a choice in this. Clothes first, then the rest. I want you to understand what it means to be seen." Ethan swallowed, his Adam's apple bobbing nervously. Slowly, he stripped down to his underwear, feeling the air heavy against his skin. Every movement made him hyper-aware of how exposed he felt, not just physically, but emotionally. Lila's eyes lingered, assessing, calculating. "Good. Now, arms through the sleeves." The dress slid over his shoulders, delicate fabric brushing against his skin. He shivered, part embarrassment, part a strange, unfamiliar thrill. "Look at yourself," Lila ordered. "Not like a boy, like her." Ethan's reflection in the full-length mirror made him flinch. He hardly recognized the soft curves created by padding Lila had slipped under the dress, the way the fabric hugged him differently than any boy's clothing ever could. His chest felt strange, his hips heavier, his posture suddenly awkward. I look wrong," he whispered. "Wrong? No, Ethan. Beautiful. You just don't know it yet," Lila said, kneeling beside him. "Let me show you." She took a brush and began working through his hair, curling, smoothing, shaping it. Each stroke was precise, deliberate, almost intimate. Ethan's pulse throbbed in his ears. It felt invasive and yet mesmerizing. "Now the makeup," she said, pulling out foundation, eyeshadow, and lipstick. Ethan's hands shook as she guided him through each step. He watched in the mirror as his features softened, eyes widening, lips fuller, skin flawless. "Do you see her?" Lila asked, her voice barely a whisper. "She's inside you. You just needed me to bring her out." Ethan wanted to deny it. He wanted to push back. But the reflection staring back at him made him pause. For a fleeting second, he saw someone else, someone vulnerable and exposed, yet undeniably captivating. "You can't just stand there," Lila scolded. "Walk. Slowly. Gracefully. Pretend you belong in this body." Ethan tried. His first steps were stiff, awkward. Every heel click on the hardwood felt deafening. He stumbled, cheeks burning. Lila's hand pressed lightly on his back, correcting posture, nudging hips.
"Better," she said.
"A little more sway. Pretend you're not afraid to be beautiful." Humiliation and strange exhilaration mingled inside him. Each corrected step felt like surrender, yet a small part of him couldn't deny the thrill. Lila's eyes studied him intently, as if measuring how much he would endure. "I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm not supposed to like it, but why does it feel exciting?" Ethan thought, his heart hammering.
"This isn't me."
"It can't be me, but why does it feel like it could be?" Lila wasn't finished.
"Good.
"Now the real test," she said, smirking. She grabbed his hand and led him to the street. A passing neighbor glanced at him. Ethan froze, heat surging through his face. He wasn't used to attention, especially not this kind. "You're beautiful," Lila whispered.
"Say it."
"Say you're her." Ethan shook his head, lips trembling. But a whisper escaped anyway. "I'm her." Lila's smile widened. "Perfect. But this is just the beginning. Wait until everyone sees you tomorrow at school. You're not just dressing up, Ethan. You're stepping into a world that will see every inch of you." The morning sun streamed through the curtains, harsh and unrelenting. Ethan woke to the sound of Lila humming as she prepared his outfit for the day. He groaned, rubbing his eyes, but the sight that greeted him made his stomach twist. A soft pastel blouse, a pleated skirt that swished with every movement, thigh-high stockings, and, most humiliatingly, white heels. Lila stood beside the outfit, arms crossed, a smirk playing on her lips. "You look incredible," she said. "But remember, today isn't about compliments. It's about proving you can be her." Ethan swallowed, his throat dry. He had spent the night tossing and turning, dreading this moment. But when he looked at the reflection in the mirror, he saw the transformation creeping further into him. The contours of his face softened, his hips and chest reshaped by Lila's careful guidance. He looked feminine. "And that's why this will work," Lila whispered, circling him like a predator assessing prey. "The world will believe it. Everyone will believe it." The first steps outside were terrifying. Passers-by glanced briefly, some smiled, some frowned. Ethan's face flushed crimson with each step. Lila's hand was steady on his back, a tether holding him in place. "Relax. You belong here," she murmured. "Own it, or everyone will see you're pretending." Ethan tried to walk taller, swaying hips naturally, adjusting posture, but every misstep felt like a spotlight on his shame. When a group of girls laughed nearby, glancing in his direction, his heart thumped painfully. Lila leaned in close, whispering, "Ignore them. Pretend this is who you are. Feel it." Ethan's mind screamed resistance, yet part of him, the part that had felt that strange thrill yesterday, responded. Could I actually get used to this? They stopped outside a cafe, and Lila insisted they sit at a table by the window. The barista gave a double take at Ethan, and his face burned hotter than the sun outside. Every movement felt amplified, every blush exaggerated. "You look like a girl," Lila said softly, almost tauntingly. "But can you act like one? Can you speak, laugh, move, be believable?" Ethan tried to respond naturally, but his voice wavered, soft and higher-pitched than usual. He felt exposed, powerless, and beautifully vulnerable. Lila's eyes sparkled with satisfaction. "Good," she said. "But that's not enough. People will see you. People will judge you. You need to survive it." "I hate this. I hate how scared I feel." And yet, why does it feel thrilling? Ethan thought, heart racing. Is this shame or excitement? Every glance, every whisper felt like a spotlight, and he realized, with a sinking thrill, that he could not turn back now. After the cafe, Lila led him through a small shopping mall, forcing him to walk past strangers, try on clothes, and pose for selfies. Each encounter chipped away at his resistance. Each compliment, every accidental stare, tugged at something deep inside him. By the time they returned home, Ethan's legs ached, his heart raced, and his identity felt fractured. He no longer felt like the shy, invisible boy from yesterday. Lila closed the door behind them, her smirk widening. Tomorrow, everyone will see her at school. And then we'll see just how far you'll go. No one will recognize you, unless you let them see the truth. Ethan's alarm blared at 6:30 a.m., and his body stiffened with dread. Today was the real test. The first day at school dressed and seen as a girl. Lila had spent hours last night perfecting his hair, makeup, and outfit. By now, his reflection in the mirror barely resembled the boy he had been. A soft lavender blouse tucked into a high-waisted skirt, matching shoes clicking softly against the floor, hair curled perfectly around his face. Every detail screamed femininity. Lila watched him silently, arms crossed. You look convincing. Beautiful. But don't forget, everyone at school will expect you to act like her. Speak, walk, laugh, like it's natural. Ethan swallowed, a knot forming in his stomach. This isn't me. I can't do this. But when he caught his reflection, there was a strange curiosity in his own eyes. Could he really pull this off? Stepping onto the school grounds felt like entering a stage under harsh, unforgiving lights. Students milled about, chatting and laughing, oblivious to the storm that had overtaken Ethan's life. The first glance from a group of girls made him stumble inwardly. He could feel Lila's eyes on him, guiding every movement. His walk was stiff at first, but with gentle nudges, his posture began to smooth. He forced a laugh, forced a smile, and somehow, it looked almost natural. One of his classmates, a boy from his math class, stopped mid-step. Wait, is that Ethan? Ethan's heart sank. Lila's hand squeezed his shoulder. Ignore him. You're not Ethan right now. You're her. The boy stared a moment longer, suspicion and disbelief painted across his face, before he shrugged and walked away. Ethan exhaled shakily. This was only the beginning. Lila guided him through the hallways, past lockers and classrooms. Whispers followed him, some admiring, some questioning. Each step was a struggle, every glance a test of his composure. A girl approached, smiling. Hey, you're new, right? Love your skirt. Ethan's cheeks flamed. Hitch, thank you, he stammered, voice soft, higher than he expected. Lila's eyes gleamed with satisfaction. Good, she whispered.
See?
People are noticing. People want to notice you. Feel it. Ethan hated the feeling. The attention made him vulnerable, exposed, but part of him couldn't deny the thrill. Every compliment, every look tugged at something unfamiliar inside him. Who am I right now? Ethan thought, voice shaking internally. I can't go back, can I? But why does it feel nice when they call me pretty? By lunch, he was navigating conversations with classmates, laughing softly, adjusting his skirt nervously. Lila hovered nearby, whispering corrections, nudging him whenever he faltered. She was both tormentor and guide, pushing him further into this new identity. In the bathroom, Ethan stared at his reflection, touching his cheeks, lips, hair. The boy he had been felt distant, fading. His body looked right, but did it feel right? Tears pricked his eyes as he realized how deeply he had surrendered to Lila's control. Returning to the cafeteria, a familiar face from his past froze at the sight of him. Their eyes widened in recognition. Lila leaned close, whispering in his ear with a smile. Looks like someone knows the truth. Are you ready for them to see what you've become? By mid-afternoon, Ethan's legs ached from walking in heels, his cheeks burned from constant attention, and his mind felt like a storm. Lila's voice echoed in his head with every movement, every glance. Act like her. Be her. Own it. As he navigated the crowded hallways, he noticed Ryan, a quiet boy from his biology class, watching him intently. Unlike the others, Ryan didn't stare judgmentally or mock him. There was curiosity in his eyes, a gentle intrigue that made Ethan's heart skip nervously. Lila noticed too. "Ah, Ryan," she murmured, lips curling. "He's perfect for you. Someone who can see her, without breaking you for now." Lunch passed in a blur of whispered comments, giggles from girls, and Ethan's own forced laughter. Ryan approached hesitantly. You're new, right?" Ryan asked, voice low. I like your style." Ethan's face flamed. Thank you," he murmured, fiddling with the hem of his skirt. His heart raced, not from the fear of exposure, but from something else, a strange, unexpected warmth. Lila, sitting nearby, smiled faintly. "Notice how he looks at you? Use it. Don't fight it." Walking back to class, Ethan felt the weight of everyone's stares. Every compliment, every sideways glance, chipped away at his resistance. Part of him wanted to run, to rip off the skirt and scream that he wasn't a girl. But another part, the part that Ryan seemed to notice and admire, thrilled at being seen, desired, even in this humiliating form. In the bathroom, he stared at his reflection. The soft blush on his cheeks, the curl of his hair, the way his blouse clung to him. He almost didn't recognize himself.
Who am I right now?
Ethan thought, trembling. Am I still me? Or am I her? Lila appeared suddenly behind him. "Looking good," she whispered. "But you can't hide in there forever. You belong in the open now. Everyone should see you, and everyone should wonder who you really are." Her words sent a shiver down his spine. He wanted to resist, but her control was intoxicating. Every word she spoke, every command, chipped away at the boy he used to be. Later, Lila dragged him to a small bookstore across the street. She insisted he walk ahead alone, pretending to browse while strangers noticed him. Ethan's heart hammered with each glance. Some whispered, some stared, some smiled. The humiliation and the thrill tangled inside him. Ryan found him again, peeking from behind a shelf. You look amazing," he whispered. Ethan froze, cheeks flaming. Why does that feel so good? He thought, panic mixing with something he didn't understand. By the time they returned home, Ethan's emotions were a tangled mess: humiliation, embarrassment, curiosity, and a forbidden thrill. Lila's eyes sparkled with satisfaction. "Tomorrow," she whispered, brushing a curl from his face, "we're going to see how far you'll go when everyone knows her. It's not just about looking like her, it's about being her, every single second." The morning light streamed through the window, and Ethan lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. His muscles ached from yesterday's ordeal, his mind still spinning from the whispers, the stares, the feeling of being watched. And yet, a part of him ached for more. Lila appeared in the doorway, clipboard in hand, a mischievous glint in her eyes. "Time to continue your education," she said. "Yesterday was just the surface. Today, we dive deeper." The next several hours were a carefully orchestrated drill in femininity. Lila guided Ethan through makeup mastery. She showed him how to highlight cheekbones, apply mascara without clumps, and draw soft, seductive eyebrows. Every correction was precise, sometimes harsh, and always humiliating. A lingerie and padding. Ethan learned how to properly wear bras and padding, adjusting to the way his body now felt different, more curvy, more feminine. Each adjustment reminded him of what he was losing, or perhaps gaining, depending on how he looked at it. Posture and walk. Hours were spent in front of mirrors. Lila corrected his stance, his sway, the tilt of his head, and the delicate way his arms moved. The first attempts were stiff and awkward, but gradually he began to glide. Ethan's internal monologue was a storm. "This isn't me. I can't be her. But why does it feel good when she says I look beautiful?" Each compliment from Lila pierced him. He hated the power she had over him, yet craved it in equal measure. The humiliation was relentless, but so was the strange thrill of being admired in a way he had never experienced. By afternoon, Lila forced him out again, this time to a small boutique. She had prepared him meticulously, but the public's attention was unpredictable. Strangers smiled, whispered, and sometimes stared too long. Every glance made Ethan's heart pound. He stumbled slightly in heels, and Lila's hand corrected him. "You're doing beautifully," she murmured. But perfection isn't just appearance, it's behavior. Every gesture, every word, must scream her. Am I really becoming her? Or am I losing myself? Ethan wondered. And why do I care what Ryan thinks? Ryan appeared unexpectedly near the boutique, eyes widening in surprise. Unlike before, there was no judgment, only intrigue and admiration. Ethan felt a blush creep up his cheeks. Lila's hand on his shoulder was both reassurance and command. "See," she whispered. "Even he notices. You're doing exactly what I want." When they returned home, Lila closed the door, her eyes glinting. "Tomorrow, you face your first real test. Everyone at school, everyone who knows you, they will see her. And we'll see just how much of Ethan is left. They'll all see her, and you'll have nowhere to hide." The first bell rang, sharp and insistent. Ethan's stomach twisted into knots as he entered the school hallways, Lila's steadying hand on his back. Today wasn't just about appearances, it was about social proof. Everyone would see him, and no one would suspect he was once Ethan. His reflection in the glass doors made him pause. High heels, skirt swishing, carefully applied makeup, he barely recognized himself. And yet, there was a strange satisfaction in seeing himself fully transformed, even if it came with fear and humiliation. As he walked past classmates, whispers rippled through the hall. Some girls whispered compliments, pointing subtly. Boys stared, some curious, some mocking. Every glance felt magnified. A group of friends from his past recognized him. One boy froze mid-step. "Wait, Ethan?" he asked, disbelief in his voice. Lila's hand squeezed Ethan's shoulder. "Ignore him. You're her now. Let him figure it out." Ethan's heart raced. Panic clawed at him, but part of him, the part that had secretly enjoyed the attention from Ryan, felt a twinge of thrill. He straightened, forced a smile, and walked on. In class, he had to speak, interact, and maintain the persona. His voice was soft, higher-pitched, almost musical. Each word he spoke was measured, rehearsed in front of the mirror countless times. Still, every slip felt like exposure. Ryan appeared again, sitting a few rows away, eyes warm and encouraging. Ethan's stomach fluttered. The combination of humiliation, arousal, and acceptance created a confusing storm inside him.
Who am I?
Ethan thought, staring at his reflection in the shiny surface of the classroom window. Am I still Ethan, or is she me now? He felt torn between fear and desire, shame and excitement. Lila had made him vulnerable, but in that vulnerability, a strange empowerment emerged, a paradox he didn't yet understand. During lunch, Lila orchestrated a small accidental encounter with his old friends. They whispered, stared, and laughed, leaving Ethan blushing furiously. But when Ryan came to sit with him, offering genuine attention and support, Ethan felt a conflicting warmth. Why does it feel good when he notices me like this? He wondered. The mix of humiliation and pleasure was overwhelming. By the end of the day, Ethan collapsed in exhaustion, emotionally raw. Lila stood over him, eyes gleaming. "Tomorrow," she said, voice soft but commanding, "we push further. You're going to a party fully as her. And then we'll see just how much you're willing to lose or gain. Tonight, everyone will see her, and you'll have no place to hide." The evening air was cool, scented faintly with flowers from the nearby gardens, but Ethan's nerves burned hotter than any summer sun. Lila had arranged for him to attend a small gathering, a party with classmates, neighbors, and a few strangers. "This isn't just a test," Lila whispered, brushing a strand of hair from his face. "It's an initiation. You're not Ethan tonight. You're her. Everyone will see you, judge you, and you'll survive it." Ethan swallowed, clutching the soft fabric of his dress. The pastel pink shimmered under the dim lights, tight but flattering, every detail meticulously crafted by Lila. High heels clicked sharply against the pavement as they walked. Each step was deliberate, a reminder that he was no longer invisible. The door opened, and a wave of noise, laughter, and music hit him. Girls in sparkling dresses mingled. Boys leaned against the walls, some glancing curiously. Ethan felt every eye on him, every gaze amplifying his heartbeat. Lila leaned close, whispering, "Smile. Walk like you belong. Speak like you're confident." His first attempts were shaky. The swish of the skirt, the stiffness of the heels, the weight of padded curves, it all felt foreign. Yet, as he walked further, glancing at his reflection in a nearby mirror, he caught sight of himself fully transformed. The boy he had been yesterday seemed like a distant memory. A group of girls from school approached, whispering and giggling. "Wow, you look different," one said, her voice soft but teasing. Ethan's cheeks burned crimson. He tried to laugh it off, a soft, high-pitched sound that made him wince inwardly. Lila's hand on his back steadied him, a reminder of both support and control. "Perfect," she murmured. "Feel the attention. Let it sink in. This is just the beginning." Ryan appeared again, leaning casually against the wall, eyes following Ethan's every movement. Their conversation was hesitant at first, a mix of small talk and shy glances. But slowly, Ethan began to respond naturally, laughing softly, adjusting his posture, letting Ryan see her, the new persona Lila had shaped. "Why does it feel good when he notices me?" Ethan thought, heart pounding. "Why am I enjoying this?" The party continued, and Lila orchestrated situations designed to test him, asking him to dance in front of a group of people, making his awkwardness visible. Encouraging flirtatious conversation with strangers, increasing his embarrassment. Subtly praising him when he maintained composure, blending humiliation with approval. Each moment pushed Ethan further, stripping away his former identity piece by piece. This isn't just acting anymore, he realized, voice trembling internally. I'm feeling things I've never felt, and maybe I don't want to stop. But who am I if I let this happen? Lila's voice cut through his thoughts. Good. You're starting to believe it, aren't you? That you can be beautiful, that you are beautiful. Ethan shivered. It wasn't just the cold air, it was the weight of her words, the intensity of her control, and the confusing mixture of shame and thrill coursing through him. As the party neared its peak, someone from his past, someone who had once teased him mercilessly, entered the room. Their eyes locked on him, widening in shock and recognition. Lila's hand on his shoulder was firm. "Ready," she whispered with a smirk. "Because they're about to see her, and you'll have to decide if you fight or surrender. They remember you, but will they recognize her?" The music thumped softly, a background pulse to Ethan's racing heart. He had just finished laughing politely at a comment from Ryan when a familiar voice cut through the chatter. "Ethan? Is that you?" His chest tightened. Across the room stood Jason, a boy from his past who had teased and humiliated him relentlessly in school. Now he stared, disbelief and shock etched on his face. Ethan froze, heels clicking softly against the floor as the room seemed to grow louder. Every eye subtly turned toward him, sensing the tension. Lila's hand on his shoulder was firm, grounding him, yet teasing. "Ignore him," she whispered. "You're her now. Let him wonder." Jason stepped closer, eyes scanning every detail of Ethan's carefully crafted appearance. You look different," Jason stammered, a mix of curiosity and mockery in his tone. Ethan's cheeks flamed crimson. Hi," he whispered, voice higher than usual, quivering under the weight of exposure. The whispers around the room grew. A few classmates who recognized him glanced at each other, astonished. The realization hit Ethan in waves. There was no hiding now. His transformation, his feminine persona, was on full display. I can't let him see me like this, yet why do I feel exposed, yet alive? Ethan's mind spun. The fear of humiliation tangled with a strange, forbidden thrill, one that Ryan's admiring gaze earlier had already begun to awaken. He tried to walk away gracefully, but Jason blocked his path, smirking. Wow, you've really changed. Every syllable burned like fire. Ethan wanted to scream, to rip off the dress and prove he was still Ethan, but Lila's eyes met his across the room. Calm, commanding, almost cruel. "Don't fight it. You're hers now," her gaze seemed to say. Cornered, Ethan let himself breathe, letting the persona she had shaped fully take over. He tilted his head, softened his voice, and smiled. I like it," he said, words trembling but genuine. "It feels different." The confession shocked even him. Jason blinked, caught off guard by Ethan's boldness and strange grace. The whispers around the room shifted from mockery to curiosity. Lila's smirk widened.
"See?
"You're learning. You're not just acting anymore. You're becoming." After the confrontation, Ryan stepped closer, offering a reassuring smile. "You're amazing. I mean it," he said softly. Ethan felt warmth in his chest, his heart beating faster. Why does it feel good when he notices me like this? Ethan thought, panic mixing with thrill. Am I enjoying this? As the party continued, Lila whispered in his ear with a soft, teasing tone. Tomorrow we take it further. School, public, and maybe a first kiss. Are you ready to fully surrender? Or will you resist? This isn't just about looking like her, it's about feeling like her, down to the smallest touch. The morning sun filtered softly through the curtains, but Ethan couldn't enjoy the light. His body still throbbed with tension from the previous day's confrontation. Lila stood beside him, clipboard in hand, smirk curling at the edges of her lips. Today we go deeper, she said. You've survived exposure. You've faced humiliation. Now you feel it. Ethan's stomach churned. He had no idea what she meant, but the glint in her eyes made him shiver. Hours were spent perfecting every detail. Makeup, hair, posture, and attire were refined further. A soft pastel dress hugged his curves more snugly than before. High heels emphasized the shape of his legs, and padding refined the illusion of his hips and chest. I look so different, Ethan thought, touching his reflection. Is this really me? Or am I her? Lila guided him to the living room, where she had arranged a small obstacle course of challenges. 1. Walking in heels while maintaining eye contact. Each step required perfect posture and confidence, every stumble immediately corrected by Lila's gentle but firm hands. 2. Speaking seductively yet naturally. Lila made him practice phrases in a soft, feminine voice, blending allure with innocence. 3. Physical proximity. She instructed him to sit close, lean subtly, and maintain controlled composure as she circled him, testing his reactions. Each moment was a mix of instruction, teasing, and humiliation. Ethan's heart raced, cheeks flushed, body reacting in ways he didn't understand. Why am I reacting like this? Ethan thought, panic and forbidden thrill intertwining. This isn't supposed to feel good, is it? Finally, Lila leaned closer, voice soft but commanding. Eyes closed. Trust me. Ethan's pulse skyrocketed. He hesitated. Lila's hand cupped his cheek gently, guiding him. Before he could protest, she pressed her lips lightly to his. Shock, embarrassment, and a wave of strange pleasure surged through him. His body betrayed him, every nerve alive. Lila pulled back slightly, smirking.
There.
You felt it, didn't you? That's the power of surrender. Ethan sank into the couch, overwhelmed. Humiliation, arousal, fear, and excitement mingled in a storm inside him. Tears pricked his eyes, not just from embarrassment, but from the intensity of the experience. I can't believe I liked that, he thought. Am I really becoming her? Lila sat beside him, hand brushing against his, eyes gleaming. Good. You're learning to let go, to accept to be her. And Ryan noticed, didn't he? You like it when he sees you like this. Ethan's cheeks burned hotter. The truth of her words struck him in a way he couldn't deny. Lila's eyes darkened with a playful intensity. Tomorrow, you're going out in public, fully feminine. School, streets, even Ryan. And we'll see, can you survive the world as her? Out there, no one will treat you like Ethan. Only her exists now. The morning sun was blinding, but Ethan barely noticed. His heart pounded as he adjusted the soft pastel blouse tucked into a pleated skirt. High heels clicked sharply against the hardwood floor as he walked toward the door. Lila's smirk was both reassuring and terrifying. Remember, Ethan, or should I say her, today, everyone will see you as a girl. You have to live it, or everything we've done will unravel. Ethan swallowed, trying to steady his shaking hands. He had survived the party, the intimate test, and confrontations, but school would be different. Here, everyone knew him as Ethan, the shy, awkward boy. Now they'd see her. Walking through the front doors, he felt every eye on him. Whispers rippled through the hallways. Boys and girls alike stared, some incredulous, others impressed. Every glance was a test. Ryan appeared almost immediately, leaning against a locker with a grin. "Wow, you really did it," he said softly. Ethan's chest tightened, warmth flooding him at the recognition. Why does it feel amazing that he sees me like this? Ethan thought. Throughout the day, Lila orchestrated small, humiliating tests, asking him to answer questions in class with a soft, high-pitched voice, walking down crowded hallways, drawing attention without stumbling, navigating conversations with boys who once teased him mercilessly. Every challenge was a mix of terror and thrill. Ethan's embarrassment surged, but so did a strange pleasure in being noticed, admired, and desired. "I'm not supposed to like this, but I do," he admitted internally. "And why does it feel natural when Ryan talks to me this way?" Each glance, each compliment, tugged at his identity. The boy he had been yesterday felt distant, fading under the weight of Lila's careful control. During lunch, Ryan approached him again. "You're amazing. I mean, really." Ethan felt his cheeks flush violently. Thank you," he stammered, voice quivering, high and soft. Lila's eyes flicked toward him from across the cafeteria, pleased with his reaction. Why does it feel so good to hear him say that? Ethan wondered, heart hammering. After school, Lila met him at the door, her eyes gleaming. "You survived today," she said. "But tomorrow, we push even further. A public outing, strangers, and maybe even Ryan seeing more. Are you ready to surrender completely?" Ethan's body responded before his mind could. A mix of fear, shame, and forbidden thrill pulsed through him. As he stared at his reflection in the rearview mirror of the car, adjusting his skirt and hair, Ethan whispered to himself, "Who am I now? Ethan or her? And do I even care anymore? Out there, everyone sees her, and you have no protection but her." The mall was buzzing with shoppers, music, and the low hum of conversation. For Ethan, every step felt amplified, every glance from strangers a spotlight. Lila walked beside him, hand occasionally resting lightly on his back, a tether keeping him grounded. "You ready?" she asked, a teasing lilt in her voice. "Today, the world sees her, not Ethan. Don't falter." Ethan's stomach twisted. He had survived school, the party, and the intimate test, but this was different. Here, strangers didn't know him, and the stakes felt higher. As they navigated through the mall, Ethan was encouraged to try on dresses in a crowded store, posing for imaginary photos while Lila watched intently. Each misstep or awkward movement drew stares, forcing him to swallow his embarrassment. A group of teenagers whispered nearby, pointing subtly at him. Lila's hand pressed gently to his arm. "Ignore them. Smile. Own it." He had to walk confidently past an escalator full of strangers, heels clicking, hips swaying. Each step reminded him of how far he had transformed. Ethan's cheeks burned bright red. He felt exposed, yet a strange thrill pulsed through him, a mix of fear, humiliation, and the forbidden pleasure of being seen. Why does it feel thrilling to be watched like this? He thought. And why does it matter so much that Ryan sees me too? Each glance, each whisper, tugged at his identity. Ethan felt pieces of the boy he once was fading further, replaced by the persona Lila had meticulously crafted. Ryan had followed them into the mall, keeping a respectful distance but always observing. Every time his eyes met Ethan's, warmth and admiration shone through. Why do I crave his approval now? Ethan wondered, heart pounding. Am I enjoying this too much? Lila guided him through makeup counters, shoe stores, and boutiques, constantly correcting posture, expressions, and gestures. Every compliment was paired with subtle commands, blending humiliation with control. "You're doing beautifully," she whispered. "But remember, everyone sees her. And you're becoming her." Ethan shivered, a mixture of fear and excitement coursing through him. Lila's control was intoxicating, and he felt increasingly powerless, but also strangely alive. As they left the mall, Lila's eyes glinted. "Tomorrow we take it to school again. But this time, with Ryan by your side, fully aware, we'll see just how far your surrender goes, and if you can truly accept being her." Everyone sees her now, but will he accept her too? The morning sun spilled into Ethan's room as he stared at the mirror, adjusting his blouse and skirt. High heels clicked against the floor as he practiced walking, hair cascading perfectly over his shoulders. Lila stood behind him, clipboard in hand, smiling with that familiar, commanding glint in her eyes. "Today is crucial," she said softly. "Ryan will be watching more closely. Peers will notice more. And you have to survive it flawlessly." Ethan swallowed, nerves tightening like steel bands around his chest. Flawlessly. Could he really do it? The hallways buzzed with students, whispering and glancing. Ethan felt the familiar flood of attention. Some girls giggled as he passed, others stared, admiring the grace Lila had drilled into him. Boys were cautious, unsure how to react to the fully transformed girl in front of them. Ryan waited near the lockers, eyes bright and warm. He gave a small, encouraging smile that made Ethan's chest tighten. Why does his smile make me feel something? Ethan thought, cheeks flushing. A group of classmates recognized him. One smirked, teasing. Wow, new girl, or someone trying really hard? Ethan froze, panic threatening to overtake him. Lila's hand steadied his shoulder. Ignore them. Smile. Confidence hides fear. He forced a laugh, smooth and feminine, feeling the tension knotting his stomach loosen slightly. The thrill of surviving peer judgment mixed with embarrassment, leaving him dizzy with conflicting emotions. In class, Ethan had to participate actively, answering questions, raising his hand, even joking lightly, all in the voice and posture of the persona Lila had created. Ryan occasionally leaned closer, whispering encouraging words. Each time their eyes met, Ethan felt warmth, desire, and a strange sense of identity confusion. Am I Ethan? Or her? He thought, heart hammering. And why does it feel so good when he notices me this way? By lunch, Ethan's emotions were a storm. Humiliation, arousal, and pride collided within him. Every compliment, every glance, and every correction from Lila was a jolt, making him question who he truly was. He found himself laughing and chatting with Ryan naturally, even though the boy had no idea of the turmoil inside him. Yet the thrill of Ryan's attention, coupled with Lila's control, made the experience intoxicating. Later, Lila whispered in his ear as they left school. "Ryan sees her, doesn't he? And you like it whether you admit it or not. Remember, Ethan, the more you accept her, the more powerful she becomes. And the more dependent you'll be on me." Ethan's cheeks flushed hot. Am I really dependent on her? The thought made him shiver in equal parts fear and excitement. As the school day ended, Ryan caught up to him outside, voice soft. "You're amazing, you know. I didn't think someone could pull off being so confident and beautiful." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. Beautiful me? The word felt foreign yet thrilling. Lila's shadow loomed behind him as she whispered, "Tomorrow we see if you can handle a full weekend with her, in public, alone, and with him noticing everything." No one will see Ethan this weekend. Only her. Saturday morning arrived with a soft glow, but Ethan felt anything but calm. High heels, a flowing dress, and carefully styled hair made every movement a test. Lila's sharp gaze watched his every adjustment, clipboard ready, a mix of command and approval in her eyes. "Remember," she said, "this weekend, it's just her. School, streets, cafes, the world doesn't know you. And Ryan notices everything." Ethan's stomach twisted. The thought of spending the weekend fully as her, exposed to the world, filled him with terror and a strange, guilty thrill. They started at a bustling cafe, where Lila made Ethan order for both of them. Confidence, she murmured. You walk, you speak, you smile. Let the world see her. Each word trembled on Ethan's lips as he placed the order. People glanced, smiled, or whispered. Some admired his poise. Some questioned it. Every glance tore at his old identity, forcing him deeper into the persona Lila had crafted. Ryan appeared unexpectedly, sitting at a corner table. He waved, eyes filled with admiration. Ethan's heart leapt. Why does it feel so thrilling to be noticed like this? He thought, cheeks flaming. Next, Lila guided him through boutiques. He had to try on revealing outfits, holding himself confidently in front of mirrors and clerks. Interact with strangers, responding with soft smiles and flirtatious gestures, guided by Lila's subtle corrections. Maintain composure under scrutiny, ignoring whispering onlookers. By mid-afternoon, Ethan's legs ached, cheeks burned, and his mind felt overloaded. Yet, each compliment, each teasing glance, intensified a new sensation, a blend of humiliation and thrilling empowerment he had never known. I'm enjoying this, he admitted privately, a shiver running through him. Am I becoming her, or losing myself entirely? Back at Lila's apartment, she initiated a more personal test. Sitting close on the couch, she whispered, Ryan saw you today, he noticed how perfect you are. But I need to see how much you truly accept her. Ethan felt a shiver course through him, heart pounding. Her hand brushed his cheek, lingering. You liked the attention, didn't you? Lila murmured. And you liked it when he looked at you, her. Ethan's body betrayed him, trembling with conflicting feelings, fear, excitement, arousal, and shame all intertwined. As the night settled, Lila's eyes gleamed with satisfaction. Tomorrow, the ultimate test. A full day in public, social events, and perhaps a very personal encounter with him. We'll see if you can survive her completely. This is it, no hiding, no pretending. Only her exists now. Sunday morning arrived crisp and clear, but Ethan felt his nerves like coiled springs. Today, Lila had planned a full day of public exposure and personal challenges, school, cafes, parks, and an intimate encounter with Ryan under her watchful eye. He dressed carefully, slipping into a soft lavender dress that hugged his curves, with high heels that made every step a performance. His hair fell in waves around his shoulders, and makeup was flawless. The boy he had been felt like a distant memory. Lila stood behind him, clipboard in hand, smiling. Remember, she said softly yet firmly, you're not Ethan today. You're her. And he, Ryan, will see exactly who she is. Ethan's stomach twisted. Fear, excitement, and anticipation churned together. Can I really do this? Can I survive being her, fully, in front of him? They arrived at a bustling park, people jogging, walking dogs, and chatting on benches. Lila instructed Ethan to walk confidently along crowded paths, heels clicking, skirts swaying. Smile and respond politely to strangers who commented on his appearance. Keep composure while Ryan subtly observed from a distance. Each step tore away more of Ethan's old identity, while simultaneously deepening his dependence on Lila's guidance. Every compliment he received, every appreciative glance from strangers, made his heart pound with a mix of humiliation and forbidden thrill. I'm enjoying this. Am I really enjoying this? Ethan thought, cheeks burning. They entered a busy cafe, where Lila encouraged Ethan to sit near Ryan. Act natural. Speak soft. Let him see her, and you'll learn how much you want him to notice. As Ryan leaned closer, chatting warmly, Ethan's pulse quickened. Every word, every laugh, every soft glance ignited a storm of emotion and desire. Lila's eyes never left him, watching every reaction, noting every tremor of body and blush of the cheeks. When Ryan complimented him, Ethan's knees nearly buckled. The thrill of being admired, the shame of his reactions, and the control Lila had over him all collided in a dizzying whirlwind. Back at Lila's apartment, she initiated the final intimate test. Sitting close, she whispered, You've survived the public challenges, the peer exposure. Ryan, noticing now, It's time to see how much you surrender emotionally. Ethan's body trembled under the mix of fear, excitement, and shame. Lila guided him gently, her touch commanding yet comforting. You liked being admired, she murmured, and you liked his attention. Admit it and accept her completely. Tears pricked Ethan's eyes. Humiliation, arousal, fear, and acceptance mingled. For the first time, he fully admitted, I like her. I want her. I want to be her. Lila smiled, triumphant. Good. Now you understand. You're not just pretending anymore. You are her. And anyone, even Ryan, will see exactly that. As Ethan collapsed on the couch, exhausted yet exhilarated, Lila whispered, Tomorrow, the final choice. Return to Ethan or accept her forever. No more games. No more pretending. The weight of the decision pressed down. Could he go back? Or had Lila's control, the humiliation, the thrill, and Ryan's attention already reshaped his very identity? No more pretending. No more hiding. Who will I be? Ethan or her? The morning light spilled through the curtains, soft and golden, but Ethan felt anything but calm. Lila stood silently beside him, clipboard in hand, eyes gleaming with that familiar mix of command and expectation. This is it, she said softly. The final choice. Return to being Ethan or embrace her completely. No more games, no more pretending. Ethan's heart raced. For weeks, he had been humiliated, exposed, adored, teased, and trained. Every step, every glance, every touch had stripped away his old self. The boy he had been seemed distant, like a fading shadow.
Who am I now?
He thought, staring at his reflection in the mirror. The high heels, the skirt, the soft pastel dress, the carefully styled hair, and the delicate makeup. She looked perfect. And he felt perfect. A knock at the door signaled Ryan's arrival. He stepped inside, eyes bright, scanning Ethan, her, fully. You're incredible, Ryan said softly, voice full of admiration. I mean, I've never seen anyone like you. Beautiful, confident, amazing. Ethan's chest tightened. The praise, the warmth, the intensity of Ryan's gaze. It was intoxicating. But it also forced him to face the truth. The old Ethan couldn't receive this kind of attention, couldn't feel this blend of shame and pleasure, confidence and fear. Do I go back or stay? Ethan sank onto the couch, mind swirling. The weeks under Lila's control had reshaped him emotionally, mentally, and physically. The humiliation, the teasing, the public exposure, the attention from Ryan, it had all combined into a storm of conflicting emotions. Tears pricked his eyes. I don't know if I can go back, he whispered to Lila. I feel alive like this. Lila smiled softly, brushing a strand of hair from his face. Then you've already made your choice. Deep down, you know who you are now. The question isn't whether you can go back, but whether you want to. Ethan stood, heart hammering, voice trembling but resolute. I accept her. I want to be her. Relief, triumph, and an unexpected surge of excitement coursed through him. The boy he had been might still exist in memory, but she, the persona Lila had nurtured, was now fully alive. Ryan smiled warmly, stepping closer. Then let me see her fully. Ethan, now fully herself, met Ryan's gaze, heart pounding. For the first time, there was no shame, only a mixture of thrill, pride, and freedom. Over the following weeks, Ethan fully embraced her new identity. Public appearances, friendships, and even romance with Ryan became natural. Lila's control had ended, but her influence lingered in the confidence and poise Ethan, now her, carried. Occasionally, a flicker of memory reminded her of the boy she had been, but it no longer hurt. That identity had served its purpose, shaping her into someone stronger, braver, and more self-aware. In mirrors, crowds, and intimate moments, she finally saw herself, beautiful, confident, and complete. One evening, as she looked in the mirror, Ryan whispering softly behind her, Lila's voice echoed in memory. You're hers now, and you'll never be the same. She smiled, touching her reflection. No, I wouldn't want to be. The journey was over, but the transformation, both inside and out, was eternal. Weeks had passed since Ethan became fully her. Her life was now a delicate balance of school, social outings, and her growing relationship with Ryan. She had embraced her appearance, her mannerisms, and even the thrill of attention. Yet, something gnawed at her. The world knew only the persona Lila had crafted, but secrets have a way of leaking. One afternoon, at a boutique, a familiar voice stopped her cold. "Is that Ethan?" Her heart froze. A former classmate, someone who knew her past, was staring directly at her. Panic surged. No, not now, she thought, fingers tightening on her purse. Lila appeared silently behind her, a calm but knowing presence.
Breathe.
Remember, she is you now. Own it. The classmate blinked, confused, unable to reconcile the confident, feminine figure before him with the shy boy he remembered. What if he tells someone? She thought. Fear and thrill intertwined. She realized she had fully accepted her new life, but society's expectations and past acquaintances could challenge it at any moment. News of her transformation, or rather, the way she carried herself, spread through her social circles. Whispers, admiration, and subtle envy followed her everywhere. People noticed her confidence, grace, and beauty. Even Ryan's friends were intrigued, often teasing him affectionately about his perfect girl. Ryan remained her anchor. Their bond deepened, filled with playful teasing, emotional support, and subtle romantic tension. Yet, she also sensed he was curious about the past, though she never revealed the full truth. "You're incredible," he said one evening, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "I've never met anyone like you. Truly." Her chest tightened. Incredible, she is me now. Not Ethan. Only her. As she returned home, she noticed a note slipped under the door. In precise, neat handwriting, it read, "I know your secret and I want to meet." Her pulse raced. The past had found her. And this time, Lila wasn't there to control the situation. Someone knows, and they want answers. The note burned in her hands. Every instinct screamed danger, yet curiosity pulled her forward. Lila had taught her to be confident, to command attention, and to embrace her new self. But this was different. This was unknown. Who could know, and how? She thought, heart racing. The rendezvous was set at a quiet cafe in the city. She arrived early, adjusting her dress and hair, heels clicking with confidence. Despite the nervous flutter in her stomach, she radiated poise. The persona Lila had molded was perfect. A man approached, mid-20s, calm, with a knowing glint in his eyes. "You're her," he said softly, scanning her carefully. "Not Ethan anymore, are you?" Her heart skipped a beat. How did he know? I don't know what you mean," she replied, voice steady despite the tension. The man leaned closer. "I knew Ethan, and I know what's been done to him, or her. You can't hide forever. Secrets like this always surface." Panic and fear collided inside her. Could this ruin everything? Yet, she felt a strange surge of strength. Lila had taught her control, dominance, and presence. She straightened, meeting his gaze. "I am who I am now," she said firmly. "Ethan is gone, and anyone who tries to expose me will see that I'm not afraid." The man smirked, intrigued by her confidence. "Brave and bold. I didn't expect that. But bravery doesn't erase the truth. There are consequences." Her pulse raced. She felt fear, thrill, and exhilaration. Every emotion heightened. She realized that embracing her identity wasn't just about appearance. It was about claiming power over her life, her narrative, and even the past. As the cafe door swung open, someone from the shadows waved at the man. It was Lila, smiling, confident, in control. "I see my lesson isn't finished," Lila murmured. "Time to show her that even this she can master." Her heart pounded. The past, the present, and her new identity were colliding, and the ultimate test was far from over. The past thinks it can control me, but she isn't afraid anymore. The cafe's dim lights cast long shadows across the room. She sat upright, heels crossed, fingers brushing the edge of the table. Lila's presence behind her was calming yet electrifying, a reminder that control could be reclaimed, even when the world threatened it. The man from Ethan's past, who once knew him, leaned forward, eyes sharp. "You've changed. I can see it, but people will notice eventually. Secrets like this have a way of breaking free." For the first time, she wasn't trembling. She met his gaze steadily, her voice strong, measured. "I'm not Ethan anymore," she said firmly. "And you can't undo that. I am her now. Every step, every glance, every choice has been mine. Not his, not yours, not anyone's." He raised an eyebrow, a subtle smirk forming. "Bold words. But can you truly defend yourself if someone exposes you?" A faint smile crossed her lips. "Exposure doesn't scare me. I've been humiliated, tested, and reshaped. I've faced everyone's eyes and survived. And I don't just survive, I own them." Lila stepped closer, whispering softly into her ear. "Remember, control isn't just about hiding. It's about taking power over every situation. You've learned that well." She felt a shiver, not of fear, but of anticipation. Every humiliation, every public gaze, every challenge had prepared her for this moment. She was no longer a victim of circumstance. She was the master of her identity. The man leaned back, seemingly impressed. "So, you embrace this identity fully?" "Yes," she said, voice unwavering. "And anyone who thinks they can manipulate me, threaten me, or control me will find they're dealing with someone entirely different. Someone who's strong, confident, and unafraid." A hush fell over the cafe. Even the onlookers seemed to pause, sensing the power radiating from her presence. From a corner, Ryan watched silently, admiration and desire in his eyes. Every gesture, every word, every ounce of confidence she displayed made his heart race. "This is who she's become, fully herself," he thought, swallowing hard. The man smirked again, standing slowly. "Impressive, but this isn't over. There are people who will want to see her broken. Are you ready for what comes next?" She smiled, calm, unshakable, radiant. "Bring it on. I'm ready for anything. Everyone is watching, and I am finally unshakable." The city skyline glimmered as evening approached. She walked with deliberate confidence, heels clicking on the pavement, dress swaying perfectly with each step. The night air was crisp, carrying whispers of curiosity and admiration from passers-by. This time, it wasn't just a cafe, a mall, or a school. It was a public gala, a social event full of people who had never seen Ethan but would scrutinize her completely. The entrance was grand, lights sparkling, cameras flashing. Every eye was drawn to her. A mix of whispers, gasps, and appreciative glances followed her as she moved through the crowd. For a moment, panic flickered. What if someone recognizes me? What if they see through her? But it vanished instantly. She was her, and she owned it. The man from her past appeared at the edge of the crowd, observing silently. He smirked, crossing his arms. But instead of fear, she felt exhilaration. Walking toward him, she smiled, radiant and unshakable. "You thought you could intimidate me, but look around. Everyone sees her. Everyone admires her. And I am not afraid of you or anyone." He blinked, momentarily taken aback by her poise, the magnetic confidence she exuded. Guests whispered and stared, some openly complimenting her. "You're stunning," a stranger murmured. "You're glowing," another added. Every word, every gaze reinforced her transformation, not just physically, but emotionally and psychologically. She realized she had transcended fear, shame, and doubt. Ryan appeared at her side, hand brushing hers gently. His smile was soft but full of admiration. "I've never met anyone as incredible as you be as her," he whispered. Her heart swelled. For the first time, she felt truly accepted, not as a facade, but as her real self, fully embraced by herself and someone who truly cared. From the back, Lila observed silently, a proud smile on her lips. Every test, Every humiliation, every challenge had led to this moment. Her control was no longer needed. She had taught her to own herself completely. Looking in a reflective window, she saw not Ethan, not a boy, not a shadow, only her. Beautiful, confident, untouchable. I am hers, and I am free. As she raised her glass for the gala toast, the man from her past nodded subtly, acknowledging defeat. You've won, he murmured. She smiled, heels clicking as she turned away, eyes shining. No, I didn't win. I simply became me. She had lost a boy and gained a life she never imagined. Weeks had passed since the gala, and life had settled into a new rhythm. She woke each morning, not as Ethan, not as the hesitant boy she had once been, but as herself, confident, radiant, and completely in command of her identity. Morning routine. Sunlight streamed into her room as she adjusted her hair in the mirror. Smooth strokes, gentle touches, careful attention to every detail. Each movement was no longer practice or fear. It was habit, self-expression, and joy. High heels clicked on the floor as she walked to the window. Outside, the city hummed, alive, just like her. I am hers and I love it, she thought, smiling softly. Ryan waited downstairs, smiling warmly. Their bond had deepened, built on mutual respect, trust, and admiration. He no longer saw her as a performance. He saw her fully, completely, and adored her for it. You ready for brunch? He asked, voice gentle, teasing. She smirked, slipping her hand into his. Always, if you can keep up with me in heels. He laughed, admiration in every glance. She was hers, and he loved her completely. She paused in the mirror before leaving, taking a deep breath. The journey had been long, painful, thrilling, and exhilarating. Every humiliation, every challenge, every test from Lila had forged her into someone strong, unstoppable, and beautiful inside and out. For a fleeting moment, she thought of Ethan, the boy she had once been. A shadow, a memory, a stepping stone. No regret, only gratitude. Thank you for letting me become her, she whispered softly, smiling. The city was hers now, not just the streets, the cafes, the mall, or the gala, but every glance, every interaction, every choice. She had claimed her life fully. Lila's influence lingered, not as control, but as guidance, a reminder that mastery over oneself was the ultimate power. As she stepped out into the bustling streets, heels clicking confidently, Ryan at her side, she felt the thrill of being seen, truly seen, for the first time in her life. The world was watching, and she owned it. She had lost Ethan and gained everything. The days that followed were nothing short of a blur. Every morning, I woke up in my sister's room, surrounded by her soft floral sheets, her vanity overflowing with cosmetics, her perfume lingering in the air. Every night, I collapsed into the same bed, exhausted from another day of pretending. No, not pretending anymore. Living. Living as her. It was hard to tell where the act ended and where reality began. My voice had softened with practice, my mannerisms had smoothed into something undeniably feminine, and my reflection no longer startled me. Instead, it welcomed me with a face that could easily pass for my sister's twin. But just when I thought I was adjusting, my sister came to me with a final announcement that made my blood run cold. You've been doing well, she said, sitting cross-legged on her bed, smirking with that mixture of pride and mischief she always wore. But now comes the real test. If you're going to pull this off forever, you'll need to prove it to everyone at once. I froze. What do you mean? She held up her phone. On the screen was an invitation. My heart skipped a beat as I read the words, family gathering, celebrating Aunt Myra's return from abroad.
No.
No way. My voice cracked. That's the entire family. Uncles, aunts, cousins, everyone. They'll know. They'll see through me. She shook her head, her grin widening. Not if you do it right. Think about it. If you can fool them, you can fool anyone. No more hiding. No more worrying. It'll be the ultimate proof that you're me. My stomach twisted. The idea of walking into a crowded family event, surrounded by people who had known us since birth, was terrifying. Every smile, every laugh, every hug, it would all be a potential trap, a moment where someone might notice something was off. But at the same time, a strange thought clawed its way into my mind. If I succeeded, if I really pulled this off, then maybe I wasn't just filling in for my sister anymore. Maybe I was truly becoming her. I swallowed hard. And if I fail? She leaned closer, her eyes gleaming with excitement. Then it all falls apart. But honestly, I think you'll surprise yourself. Her confidence unnerved me. But deep down, I knew I couldn't refuse. Whether it was out of fear, pride, or the twisted thrill of the challenge, I nodded.
Fine.
I'll do it. The next few days were a whirlwind of preparation. My sister drilled me harder than ever before. She tested me on family history, who gave me what gift last Eid, which cousin had just gotten engaged, what Aunt Myra's favorite dessert was. She corrected my posture until I walked with fluid grace, forced me to practice my handwriting until every curve and loop matched hers, and made me rehearse entire conversations I might have with relatives. By the night of the gathering, I felt like I was about to step into a battlefield. My heart thundered in my chest as I slipped into the lavender dress she had picked out for me, my hands trembling as I fastened the delicate necklace she always wore. "You're ready," she whispered, standing behind me as I stared at my reflection one last time. But was I? The car ride to the gathering felt endless. Every streetlight that flashed past made my nerves spike higher. And then, suddenly, we were there, standing at the doorway, the sound of laughter and chatter spilling out. My sister nudged me forward. "Go on. They're waiting for you." And as I stepped inside, dozens of eyes turned toward me, smiling, expectant, unsuspecting. This was it. The moment that would decide everything. The doorway felt like a threshold into another world. Family members looked up, curiosity lighting their faces. I could feel their eyes scanning me, trying to place who I was, or rather, who I pretended to be. I swallowed hard, straightened my posture, and smiled, the same confident smile my sister always wore. Every step I took was deliberate, every movement polished. My heart raced, but my mind held firm. Aunt Mira was the first to notice. She blinked, paused, and then smiled warmly. "You've grown so much. You look just like her." Laughter and chatter filled the room. Compliments poured in. Each hug, each handshake, each remark chipped away the last trace of fear in me. I realized then I wasn't just imitating my sister anymore. I was her, at least in spirit, in presence, in how the world saw me. Ryan, who had come along as support, squeezed my hand under the table. His eyes shone with pride and admiration. I felt warmth spread through me, an affirmation I hadn't realized I needed. Every glance in the mirror that night confirmed it. The boy I had been was gone, faded into memory. The girl I had become was strong, confident, and fully alive. And when my sister whispered, "You did it. You really did it," I smiled, not just at her but at myself. I am hers. I am me. And I am unstoppable. As laughter and celebration continued around me, I knew one thing for certain. The transformation wasn't just physical. It was emotional, psychological, and eternal. The boy I was may have been lost, but in losing him, I had gained everything. I had become her, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Al.